Pride and Prejudice, written by Jane Austen, is a romantic novel set in early 19th century England. The story revolves around the Bennet family, particularly the second eldest daughter, Elizabeth Bennet. The novel explores themes of love, social standing, and marriage, often with a satirical and humorous undertone. Major characters. Elizabeth Bennet, the intelligent and witty protagonist. Known for her sharp tongue and strong opinions, she values personal integrity and intelligence. Fitzwilliam Darcy, a wealthy, reserved, and seemingly proud gentleman who initially appears aloof and arrogant. Jane Bennet, Elizabeth's beautiful and gentle older sister who is kind and optimistic. Mr. Bennet, the sarcastic and laid-back father of the Bennet family. Mrs. Bennet, the frivolous and often embarrassing mother obsessed with marrying off her daughters. Charles Bingley, Mr. Darcy's wealthy and affable friend who falls in love with Jane Bennet. George Wickham, a charming militia officer with a dubious past. Lydia Bennet, the youngest and most reckless Bennet sister. Plot summary. Volume 1. The story begins with the arrival of Mr. Charles Bingley, a wealthy and amiable bachelor, to the Netherfield estate near the Bennet family home in Longbourn. At a local ball, Mr. Bingley quickly takes a liking to Jane Bennet, while his friend, Mr. Darcy, initially snubs Elizabeth. Despite Darcy's initial coldness, he becomes increasingly attracted to Elizabeth's lively and independent spirit. As the relationship between Bingley and Jane blossoms, Darcy's growing admiration for Elizabeth is marred by his sense of social superiority. Elizabeth, meanwhile, forms a poor opinion of Darcy, particularly after hearing tales of his mistreatment of Mr. Wickham, a handsome militia officer. Volume 2. The Bennet family is thrown into a social frenzy with the arrival of Mr. Collins, a pompous clergyman and heir to the Bennet estate. He proposes to Elizabeth, who rejects him. Soon after, Elizabeth meets Mr. Wickham and is charmed by him, further solidifying her negative opinion of Darcy. Bingley abruptly leaves Netherfield, influenced by Darcy's persuasion, and Jane is heartbroken. Elizabeth visits her friend Charlotte, who has married Mr. Collins, and encounters Darcy at Rosings Park, the estate of his formidable aunt, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. To Elizabeth's shock, Darcy proposes to her, expressing his love despite her lower social status. Offended by his pride and his role in separating Jane and Bingley, Elizabeth rejects him. In a letter, Darcy explains his actions. His interference with Jane and Bingley was meant to protect Bingley from an imprudent marriage, and his enmity with Wickham arose from Wickham's attempt to elope with Darcy's sister for her fortune. This revelation begins to change Elizabeth's opinion of Darcy. Volume 3. Back at Longbourn, Lydia elopes with Wickham, risking the Bennet family's reputation. Darcy quietly intervenes, ensuring that Wickham marries Lydia and thereby salvaging the family's honor. Elizabeth gradually realizes Darcy's true character and his affection for her. Bingley returns to Netherfield and rekindles his romance with Jane. Lady Catherine visits Elizabeth, attempting to dissuade her from marrying Darcy, but Elizabeth remains resolute. Darcy, encouraged by Elizabeth's refusal to bend to Lady Catherine's will, proposes again, and this time Elizabeth accepts. The novel concludes with the marriages of Elizabeth and Darcy, and Jane and Bingley, highlighting the triumph of mutual respect and love over pride and prejudice. Themes: social class and marriage. The novel critiques the class-conscious society of its time and the institution of marriage as a social contract rather than a union based on love. Pride and prejudice. The characters' misjudgments and initial impressions symbolize the broader societal tendencies to form opinions based on pride and prejudice. Personal growth. Both Elizabeth and Darcy undergo significant personal development, overcoming their flaws and biases to find happiness together. Pride and Prejudice remains a timeless exploration of the complexities of human relationships and societal expectations, celebrated for its incisive commentary, memorable characters, and enduring love story.